Good morning.
Boker Tov.
Thank you. Okay, Tov, thank you. I have a problem with my computer. I don't see the whole gallery here. I don't see who was on, but okay, I'll try to fix that later. So yesterday we started the fourth parak on Mem Beis on Beis. We went through the Mishnah, and just to summarize it again, it says that the mitzvah of lulav in the Beis Hamikdash is 7 days with the Raisa, but the Maisa we only take it on if it comes out on Shabbos. We're only going to take it if it comes out on the first day on Shabbos. If any other days come out on Shabbos, then they don't take the lulav. That's why in Shisha B'Shiva, sometimes it'll be all 7 days, which means if the first day came out on Shabbos, then they'll take the lulav in the Mikdash. We'll talk about out of the Mikdash further today. But the Mikdash, Rashi seems to say the Mishnah is talking about the Beis Hamikdash, and it is the rice all 7 days, but you only take it 7 days if the first day came out on Shabbos. But if Shabbos came out on a different day, then it doesn't override Shabbos. And then the Mishnah continued that what comes out on Shabbos, you'll take the lulav tar bais before Shabbos, and they'll arrange it, the chazanim, the gabam over there, and then they'll throw it out the next day, and people will catch it, but it came dangerous, and therefore they made a takana. Everyone should take it at home. Don't come to the Beis Hamikdash, take it at home. Also, the Mishnah mentioned about a rava. We'll go do that a little today also. That a rava was a mitzvah, which we'll also talk about today. That in the Beis Hamikdash they took big trees of a rava trees, and they put it around the mizbeach. We'll see also if they maybe carried it around the mizbeach, and that's also the Raisa. It doesn't say in the pasuk, but it's Lacham Moshe Sinai, and it also the Chorah, no reason why you shouldn't take it on Shabbos, but it says it's only Docha Shabbos if it comes out on the 7th day. Shana Rabbah comes out on Shabbos, then it's Docha Shabbos, but the other days they wouldn't do it. They would do it every weekday of the Yontif, of the Chol Hamoed, but on Shabbos they would not do it, only if it came out on the Shana Rabbah. Just a point of interest that nowadays, according to the calendar, Shana Rabbah never comes out on Shabbos. It doesn't happen. But here it talks about that it would have happened, and it is Docha Shabbos if it comes out on Shabbos. That's what we did yesterday. That was the Mishnah. Now we go on to the Gemara, the last couple of lines. Mem Beis and Mud Beis. Amai, Tiltul Balmahu, Litchi Shabbos. What's the problem of taking a lulav on Shabbos? There's no favor to take a lulav on Shabbos. Yesterday we spoke about it. Somebody carried it by mistake, but no one told them to carry it out. The mitzvah of taking a lulav intrinsically doesn't have any Chol Shabbos involved. At most, the Gemara says Tiltul, which means muksa. That you could say that a branch is muksa. A fruit, esrog, will not be muksa, but a branch, maybe it is also because you're not allowed to eat it. If it's muksa or mitzvah, so okay, but the Gemara says that the worst could be of a lulav will be muksa, and a muksa shouldn't override the raisa. Taisha talks about why is a muksa if it's designated for a mitzvah, so is that not also a nice use? A regular branch or branch when you're not allowed to do it for the mitzvah, so then it's true the lulav will be muksa on a day that you're not allowed to do the mitzvah. But if there's a mitzvah to do, so why should the lulav be muksa? That's a kasha. Taisha seems to say that it's still muksa, and the mitzvah of lulav is overriding the Isra of Muksa. And that's the most kasha. The worst it is only Rabbanan. But we're talking about the rice over here. So if there's a mitzvah the rice to take a lulav, why should the Isra Muksa override the mitzvah of taking the lulav on Shabbos? Amar Rabba, famous Gemara, Gzeir Shem Yitlenu B'Yadav, V'Yadlech Etzel Baki, the little mode, there, top of the next page, Yabirenu, Arba Amos, B'Shus HaRabim. Gzeir, someone might make a mistake and carry it. So we spoke about yesterday. Someone carries it, he's doing an aver, you're not supposed to carry it. And here it talks about he might take the lulav in order to learn how to do it. Rashi says either to learn how to shake it properly or to learn how to say the bracha, and he'll be carrying on Shabbos by mistake because of that one. Some people, a few individuals that might make a mistake and take the lulav in Rishus Harabim and carry it. The Gemara says a case of carrying it out Arba Amos Rishus Harabim, or Rashi talks about that also could be taking it from Rishus Yachad to Rishus Harabim, even if it's not Dalad Amos. Since it come to a Chil Shabbos, so they waived the mitzvah deraisa. And famous, the Gemara says, in the time of the shofar, in the time of the Megillah, the same reason that they don't take shofar on Shabbos and you don't read the Megillah on Shabbos, even though there should be no problem. Why not? You can blow shofar, the mitzvah to blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah, even if it comes out on Shabbos. And why did Rabbanan say not to read the Megillah? Was a problem? No Isser involved. The same thing, Gzeira the Rabba, because Rabba said this Gzeira. He's not coming to make his own Gzeira. He's saying that's found in the Mishnah. The Mishnah is to say that you don't take the lulav on Shabbos, you don't take the shofar on Shabbos, you don't take the Megillah, you don't read the Megillah on Shabbos, is because someone might carry it by mistake. Some of the Raisa, he would take it, but the Rabbanan did override the mitzvah of the Raisa. Rashi asked the kasha, so why did Rabbanan, how could the Rabbanan override the mitzvah of the Raisa? So this is a famous Gemara that that they could override with a passively, because Rashi exactly, I don't see Rashi right now, further down. Rashi without a Gemara in Yevamis, Here's the Tomar. That it is possible to the Rabbanan to passively uproot a mitzvah. It seems that muktzah, that is a general muktzah, not something to make gzeira about this thing. That the Gemara said was a problem. You should take the lulav even though it's muktzah. But as far as this gzeira, they made a decree. Someone might come to be mechal Shabbos, so that overrides. And that's how the Gemara is going to go. We're going to keep with that. That the reason why you don't take a lulav on Shabbos is gzeira Rabbanan. Someone might carry it by mistake. The Gemara continues.
You live in your house.
What?
You live in your house.
Don't take it even in your house because you might come to carry it out. Don't do whatever is said about taking it to the shul before Shabbos. Don't do all these things because you might make a mistake and you might carry it by mistake. So don't take it at all. And that's what we do nowadays. Nowadays we don't take the lulav at all on Shabbos. But this is going to be today's sugya. We'll have a lot more details in the sugya. But halacha l'maisa comes out that you don't take a lulav even on the first day, even in your house. You're not doing anything wrong. But they uprooted the mitzvah of lulav on Shabbos because you might carry it by mistake. Someone might carry it by mistake.
Today we hold it like it's books. You touch it.
It's not. Why is it muktzah? Because there's no mitzvah to take it. If there'd be mitzvah to take it, then it wouldn't. But you're right. That since we don't take it nowadays on Shabbos, so it's muktzah also.
Rabbi.
Blow the shofar on Shabbat.
Yes, it says on Rosh Hashanah, and there's no reason not to do it on Shabbat. There's no on Rosh Hashanah, and there is no avera to blow it on Shabbos. And or the Torah says it override, and still we don't do it because with Rabbanan someone might carry it and make a mistake.
But isn't it changing what the Torah says?
So that's what Rashi says that Rabbanan, because of a siyag, in order to make a fence around the Torah, they're allowed to pass it to stop a mitzvah in a passive way. Not that someone should actively do an avera, but passively just don't do it. And they bring a source that the Chachamim are authorized to do that also. Yes, Lev Yaakov.
At the beginning of the Gemara, when it says V'lidchei Shabbos, we're talking about the fact that even though it's only muktzah, it should push off Shabbos and you should be able to carry it. That's the question.
Shabbos should push it off.
Sorry,
No, you're right. It should
I'm not sure where. I didn't get the punctuation. Amai tiltal be'almahu period, or does
Amai question mark? What's the problem? Tiltal b'almahu. It's only muktzah. Carrying muktzah. Well, let Shabbos. Let it override Shabbos. That means only Isra Rabbanan or muktzah, and that Isra Rabbanan is not a problem. And the mitzvah of lulav should override Shabbos.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're on the Gemara. Where is that? That's the second line of the Gemara on Mem Gimel Amud Aleph. Ihachi Yom Mishanami. He says such a nice pshat. That's the reason why it's not Docha Shabbos all the other days, but the Mishnah says it is Docha the first day. Again, I just spoke out that Halacha L'Maisa is not going to be Docha the first day either. But we're holding now the Mishnah. The Mishnah says that if the first day of Yom Tov comes out on Shabbos, you do take the lulav. And the Gemara is asking what's the difference the first day of the other days. If you're saying this Svara, Gzeira the Rabba's Gzeira, that someone might carry it by mistake on Shabbos, so then it shouldn't be. You shouldn't take the lulav even on the first day. If Sukkot, the first day of Sukkot comes out on Shabbos, and the Mishnah says you do. The answer is the first day we're not so concerned people are going to carry it out because the Mishnah at the end of the Mishnah says that after they started getting to Sakana, they took it to Harabayas and they were getting dangerous. So they said everyone take it at home. So then everyone knows to take it at home. No one's going to take it to the shul. It's a little bit strange. I don't understand this Gemara. I asked a few people. I don't understand that we're talking about he's going to forget that at Shabbos. And they were saying since they made a takana on Shabbos to take it at home, no one's going to forget that at Shabbos. That's already because he knows that at Shabbos. I'm not sure how this logic is working, but we'll take the Gemara at the face value. It says that there's no chash. Once they made the takana to take it at home, then everyone's going to be reminded not to take it to shul. No one's going to carry it. But the Gemara says, that's good after they made the takana not to take it in the base of Mikdash, just to take it at home. But before that, they had no takana. What's going to remind people? Which is a little difficult. I don't understand that because they made a takana that everyone should bring their lulav before Shabbos also. So also they would be reminded. He wouldn't even find his lulav in his house if he would have done like everybody else does. So I'm not sure why the logic of this Gemara. But the Gemara is not satisfied yet. The Gemara is saying, I don't understand what's the difference between the first day and the rest of the days. If the rest of the days you don't take the lulav because of Shash, someone might carry it by mistake, the first day also you should make such a gzeira that maybe someone's going to carry it by mistake. So here goes the real answer. Ella, Rishon Visim and Atav B'Kulin, Lagazav Rabbanan. Hanach Lesnum and Atav B'Kulin, Lagazav Rabbanan. The first day is a special day. The first day is not only the rice in the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash is the rice all 7 days. But the first day is very unique because it's the rice all over. Even the Gulin. Gulin means out of the Beis Hamikdash. Any place, wherever you live, and even the Chutz La'aretz. Everyone's supposed to take a lulav the first day. Since the first day is unique, that is the rice worldwide, so they didn't want to make it gzeira. As far as the chash might happen, you're right. As much chance is going to happen on the other days might happen on the first day also. Someone might carry by mistake, but we didn't want to stop the mitzvah of lulav on the first day, which is with the Raisa all over. The rest of the days, which is only the Raisa in the Beis Hamikdash, but out of the Beis Hamikdash is not the Raisa, so then they made the Gzera that in the Beis Hamikdash also you shouldn't take it. And that's what the Mishnah says, that in the Beis Hamikdash, if Shabbos falls out on the other days of Sukkot, you don't take the lulav, they stop the mitzvah deraisa, b'shev al tasa, passively, because of Chash, someone might carry it. But on the first day, which is a worldwide mitzvah deraisa, they didn't want to make the gzera at all. Now the Beis Hamikdash, not out of the Beis Hamikdash, at this point in the Gemara, they would, you would take the lulav on Shabbos on the first day. Of course, don't be machal Shabbos, but don't carry it out. But you would take the lulav inside your house or inside the shul before you bring the lulav before
At that time,
Shabbos.
we were more like expedient in doing that Shmiras Shabbat at that time.
No. At this point, we don't know why it changed. Yes, at this point, the Gemara says that it is. Well, we're going to the next line. So far, the Gemara says the Gemara's going to ask the question in the next line. How come nowadays we don't take it? But so far, the Gemara is saying the Beis Hamikdash, they took it the first day. It came out on Shabbos, and there is a chash someone might carry it, but we don't want to make it gzera because it's a very special day. That's the rice all over.
Including Shofar. Shofar also, Rosh Hashanah.
No, that's a kasha. You're asking a good kasha, but that's a kasha. That shofar is also the rice all over, and they did make the gzera. That's a kasha. Good kasha. Well,
They did make it. They did make it.
yeah, that's a kasha.
Even then,
Even
even in
though,
the beginning.
yeah, even though it's the rice all over.
Oh,
That's a kasha that Taisus asks, but we can't. We'll just keep to the Gemara today. But that's a good kasha. The Gemara asks, top line on the screen, how come nowadays we don't take the lulav on the first day? It is the rice nowadays, the first day. And you said when it's the rice of the first day, so then you don't make any gzera. And how come nowadays we don't take the lulav on the first day? That's now we're getting to home base, to us. We don't have the lulav the first day. Why not? You said the first day is very special and there's the rice all over. You don't make gzera. How come we don't take the lulav the first day? The answer is we don't know how the establishment, the setup of the month. That means when they used to make the new moon, the new month, according to the moon, they had Aiden that came. So people that were outside of Eretz Yisrael, they weren't updated always to know when it's supposed to be the new month. The Gemara is going to say, right, we know the calendar, but before the calendar, so they were Makadosh their Chodesh according to testimony of witnesses that came, they saw the new moon, and then they would send out messages. Originally, they had a very good system that they would make fires from mountain to mountain, and everybody would find out within the same day. But afterwards, it says that had problems with the communication because of the Sadukim, they were interfering, so they had to only send messages by Shluchim, and the Shluchim couldn't get. They went for 2 weeks travel as far as they can get until Sukkot. But whoever didn't get, we're talking about Sukkot here, we're talking about Sukkot, right? Lulav. So they only were able to get a certain distance so that they got by Sukkot. And after that, people didn't find out. They didn't know. They always had a suffix. Is it the first day? Is today Yontif? Is tomorrow Yontif? Was the month before? Was Elul 29 days? Was it 30 days? So since they didn't know, so they had to suffix. That's why you have to have the whole thing of Yontif Sheni. The only reason why we have 2 days Yontif in the Chos Laros is because once upon a time, there was a suffix, which was the real, when was Rosh Chodesh? So the Gemara says at this point, it isn't talking to us yet, it's talking about the time of the Gemara, that we don't know for sure which is the first day. So the reason why we don't take lulav on the first day of Shabbos is because we're not sure that it's the first day. Maybe it's Erev Yom Tov, maybe it's not even Sukkot. We'll take the lulav, but we're not going to take it on Shabbos because it's not for sure that it's really the first day. But the Gemara says that's only for us out here in Bavel. But Inu the Yadi V'Kivur the Yachol, it's about in Eretz Yisrael. People in Eretz Yisrael that they do know when the new month is. They're within the range of the shluchim that they were sent out to announce when is the new month. So they're within the range. So they found out that it was for sure today is the first day of Yom Tov. So why don't they take it on Shabbos? The Gemara says they do. Enechanami.
Excuse me, Rebbe.
Yes.
The problem you had is that we won't know when the new moon is. If it turns out that it's only Erev Yom Tov and they take it, then they didn't carry on Shabbos. It is Shabbos. They know it's Shabbos, but it might be the not the first day. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Right. And
then they're Machal Shabbos, and it really wasn't Yom Tov.
Right.
I'm with you.
So we don't want to make this exception to say that the first day, we're not going to make any exam because we're not sure that it's the first day. Very good. So the Gemara says at this point the Gemara says Enechanami. These words Enechanami mean yes. Which word? The Yarcha. Yareach is the moon. Yarcha is the month. The Yarcha. There is like the prefix of the month. Kivua the Yarcha. The Kviyos Shel HaChodesh. The Gemara says at this point, Enechanami. This Enechanami means that you're right. In Eretz Yisrael, they do take the lulav on Shabbos when it comes out on the first day of Yom Tov. I'm just going to point out that this Enechanami is subject to change. But at this point, the Gemara is going to go that in Eretz Yisrael, where they know that for sure it's the first day of Sukkot, they do take the lulav on the first day, even if it comes out on Shabbos. And that Gemara is going to even back it up. The Tana prove to you. The Tani Chada Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag Shechol Yes B'Shabbos Kol Lo Molichnas L'Levein L'Har HaBayis. Our Mishnah. So we just had that. That's the Mishnah we had yesterday that says that when it comes out on Shabbos, everyone takes the lulav to Harabais before Shabbos, and the Mishnah before on page Mem Aleph Amud Beis, Tani Idach, Tani Idach, the basic Knesset. Over there it said that they took it to the shul. We had the Mishnah. It says take it to the shul. Everyone recognizes his when he gets back to shul the next morning. So it talks about Harabais, Beis Hamikdash, and it talks about Beis Knesset. That means not the Beis Hamikdash. What does that mean? That even in the Beis Knesset also sometimes they are going to take the lulav on the first day. And then we're saying that it means in Eretz Yisrael even after the Churban. That you see that even when the Beis Hamikdash, even not during the Beis Hamikdash, they're still going to take the lulav in some places. What does it mean in some places? They want to say not us. We don't take the lulav in Bavel. Us in Bavel don't take the lulav because we're far away. We're not sure that it's the first day. But in Eretz Yisrael, the places where they do know that it's the first day of Yom Tov, they do take it even on Shabbos. And that was the Mishnah was talking about, that they come to the Beis Knesset and they bring it before Shabbos and they recognize the lulav. At this point, the Gemara is over, and the Gemara says that you do take the lulav on the first day of Sukkot if it comes on Shabbos, if you know for sure that it's the first day. Just people are far away and they don't know for sure that it's the first day, for them not. And the rest of the days of Sukkot, they don't take it at all, no place, because
Only
it
in
is
Eretz Yisrael?
only the places that are close enough to know that today is Rosh Chodesh. They were in 2 weeks travel. That the shluchim went from Rosh Chodesh. They have to stop for Shabbos and for Rosh Hashanah, for Yom Kippur. But they got wherever they found out that they got news that they know what the calendar was set for this month when Lulav was Chaser or Elul. Elul was Chaser or Mole. So they know for sure that it's the first day of Sukkot. They take the Lulav. If it comes out, they take the Lulav even on Shabbos, and if it comes out on the first day, Shabbos comes on the first day of Sukkot. Okay, the Gemara is going to stop now. The Gemara is going to go further. And we're going to come back to the subject, but for right now, we have to remember what the Gemara said that Enochanam, you know, it's you do take it. But just again, subject to change. The Gemara starts a whole new subject now. You mentioned that the first day of Sukkot is the Raisa to take the lulav even out of the Beis Hamikdash, which we know, everyone knows that. The first day is the Raisa, and it says in the pasuk, it doesn't say the Beis Hamikdash, it says take it on the first day. So it's the Raisa all over. But the Gemara wants to know who says so. Where's the source? The answer is going to be that the pasuk says so. Here's where the Gemara starts. The Isay, it's a new sugya. From the word the Isay is a new sugya. The Isay min haTorah b'gvul and minovan. How do you know that the mitzvah of lulav is min haTorah even out of the Beis Hamikdash? The Tanya, we learned in the Brisa. It's going to dash in the whole pasuk. Ulokachtem, lachem, v'yom harishon. It's going to dash in each word. The Isay means sheyeshno, sheyesh. It is that it's sheyesh. It is min haTorah even out of the Beis Hamikdash. B'gvul, outside the boundaries. No, how do you know? The Tanya. The pasuk says ulokachtem. That's the pasuk that says ulokachtem v'chom b'yom harishon. The Brisa is going to dash in each word. What does ulokachtem mean? We had this already before. Shetev l'kicha b'yad kol echad b'yachad. Each person is supposed to take the lulav. Not that some representative, not the Bezdin takes it. Each person has to take the lulav. Lachem. The pasuk says lachem. V'shal lachem. We are also has to belong to you. That the borrowed or stolen lulav, you're not guilty with the first day. The rest of the days, you don't need lashal lachem. Maybe it's a mitzvah of bavera, but if it has to belong to you, even the borrowed lulav is not done on the first day. Then it says biyom. Lokachtem lochem biyom harishon biyom. Afilu Shabbos, even on Shabbos. The Gemara is going to have difficulty with this because we just spoke about a whole issue about why not to take the lulav on Shabbos. We said Gzera de Rabba. The whole issue was only going to be a Drabanan, Muksa Gzera de Rabba. But this is a pasuk over here. The Gemara is not going to be happy with this. This biyom Afilu Shabbos is going to need explanation because you don't need a pasuk to say that you take the lulav on Shabbos. Why not? On the Raisa level, there's no reason not to. We'll come back to that. That's not our issue right now. Then it says. So the Gemara is going to dash in Rishon and then Harishon. Rishon afilu b'gvul. The fact that it says Rishon, it means even outside of the Beis Hamikdash, there's a mitzvah all over to take the lulav on the first day. Rashi says that the word Rishon doesn't say anything. What does the word Rishon? Rishon means anything about the gvulim. So Rashi says it doesn't mean that. It just means that it doesn't say it differently. There is no drasha. Really, the Gemara is going back to the pasuk that you take the lulav on the first day because even out of the Beis Hamikdash, because it doesn't say differently. It just says take the lulav. It means everybody. And then what it means Rishon afilu b'gvul because of the next word. Harishon, that when we said before they take it on Shabbos, you only take it on Shabbos if it's the first day, which is all back to what we said a second ago that you doch Shabbos on the first day. If the first day of Sukkot comes out on Shabbos, but if other days of Sukkot come out on Shabbos, you don't take the lulav. It sounds like it's all like asmachtas and only drabanans, but the Gemara is going to make the rice out of everything. What did we want? What we wanted really is a fair pasuk. It's not a brisa. We wanted that you take the lulav, the rice all over. Yes, because it says l'chachtem lochem b'yom harishon, and it doesn't say differently about the Beis Hamikdash. It doesn't say dafka the Beis Hamikdash. So it means all over. So what we wanted to know, the question that the Isim in Torah with Lulav and Allah, who says that it's for the rice outside the Beis Hamikdash, is because the pasuk says take a lulav, and it doesn't distinguish after the Beis Hamikdash. That's the answer to the question, and that's the truth. How do you know that the mitzvah of lulav is the rice all over? Because it doesn't say differently. It says take the lulav, so it means all over. But the Gemara now is going to open up the window of the side points in the rice. So the rice said Yom Afilu b'Shabbos, and that doesn't make sense. To take the lulav on, you need a pasuk to say that you're allowed to take the lulav on the first day on Shabbos. Why not? Amamar, the master said. We'll back after what we just finished saying. The Yom Afilu b'Shabbos. That's what the drasha was. That it says the Yom Rishon. The Yom teaches you to take the lulav even on Shabbos if it's the first day of Sukkot. Mechti Tilto B'Amahu Israel Mishra Tilto. The whole thing that you're involved with is only Israel Muksa, and the pasuk is saying that you override Muksa. Muksa is Rabbanan, and you can throw in also that the Gezer the Rabbah, the whole thing you might carry is also Rabbanan. You don't need a pasuk to say that it overrides Rabbanan. There's no Rabbanan as far as the Torah looks. The Torah doesn't look at Rabbanan. So why does the Torah have to say that you're allowed to take lulav on the first day? So the Gemara says the whole pshat Amar Rava the Nisracha Elu the Machshir Lulav Afiti Ibn Haitana the Tanya Lulav V'Chol Machshir V'Dochan is the Shabbos Lulav Eliezer. So this is a different shita that we learned about in Rav Elazar the Mila, the famous Rav Elazar the Mila, that he says that Machshir mitzvah also Docha Shabbos. Any mitzvah that you're supposed to do on Shabbos, even the preparation for the mitzvah, if you didn't do it beforehand, you also allowed it also override Shabbos. That's the famous halacha over there. He says by Mila that if you don't have the knife,
You warm water.
yeah, you do everything you need. You even allowed to cut down the tree and then make coals and make the knife in order to do the bris milah. You're allowed to bring the baby, whatever you would need in order to do the mitzvah of milah, docha Shabbos. He says not only milah, all kinds of mitzvahs. Machshir milah. What is that? Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer the milah. Rabbi Eliezer of the mitzvah of milah over there. So here it says Rabbi Eliezer the lulav. That there's a din also. He has to cut down the lulav from the tree. He doesn't have a lulav on the first day of Sukkot and it's Shabbos, and he forgot to cut the lulav before Shabbos. So he goes up the tree on Shabbos, cuts down the lulav, and Rashi says also you tie it up. According to if you have to, you make the eged, because he holds that you're allowed to be docha Shabbos in order all the preparations necessary in order to do the mitzvah. We don't hold like that. So please don't make a mistake. We don't hold like that. You're not allowed to climb up the tree. If you don't have a lulav, you don't have a lulav, and we're not going to take it on Shabbos anyway. Even if you have a lulav, we don't take the lulav. But Rabbi Elazar holds that not only the taking of the lulav, which is no chilul Shabbos involved, but even the preparation, whatever you need in order to get to the lulav, you're also allowed to do it down there. There is chilul Shabbos to cut the lulav off the tree as the raisa. You'd be allowed to do that according to Rabbi Elazar because in order to do the mitzvah of lulav. So the pasuk says b'yom afilu b'Shabbos, not to tell you that you're allowed to take the lulav. Of course, you're allowed to take the lulav. There's no issue involved. The chiddush is that you're allowed to cut it down if you need to, and that we don't hold like. My time with Rabbi Elazar, where does he get it from? This pasuk we just said, the Yom Afilu b'Shabbos. That's Rabbi Elazar's drasha to say that it's Docha Shabbos even for the preparation. And we don't hold like that. We hold they're not allowed to do the preparations. What did they do with this pasuk b'Yom? Rabbanan Hai b'Yom Hayavdilei. The Moshe going now on a whole tangent. We're going to go further and further. The cruise is going to go on a lot of detours today. So here it says that according to Rabbanan, why do you use the word b'Yom? To tell us that the mitzvah of lulav is only in the daytime, not at night. Not to tell you Yom Afilu b'Shabbos, but to tell you day and not night. So they don't take the mitzvah, there's no mitzvah of lulav at night, only in the daytime. Rabbi Elazar used that pasuk of it. He said Yom Afilu b'Shabbos. How does he know that the mitzvah of lulav is only in the daytime? How does he know that the mitzvah of lulav is only in the daytime? Now, wait for the end of the pasuk. He said, say for the Kura. The pasuk says, etc. Here it says again Yomim. It says, and you should rejoice before Hashem 7 days. What does days mean? Days. Yomim v'lo leilos. So besides the pasuk that it says B'yom HaRishon, that would mean day, and he says day. That means day and even Shabbos. But at the end of the pasuk, I know already. It says Shabbat Yomim. I know that it means day and not night. And Rabbanan say that pasuk Yomim is not so convincing, even though it says take it for 7 days, and that means in the Beis Hamikdash there's mitzvah during the 7 days. So we'll say that the lulav on the first day is going to be also only during the day. They say that's not enough food. I'm not so impressed with the word Yomim to mean day and not night. Rabbanan, even husband have amen. But sometimes the word Yomim doesn't mean only day and not night. What does it say by Sukkah? But Sukkot they shvu Shabbat Yomim, and also it says Yomim, and over there it means even at night. You might think that just like the word by Sukkah, when it says Yomim, it doesn't mean day and not night. It means days, and sometimes the word days includes nights. Like by Sukkah, 7 days. 7 days means including the nights.
You sleep in the sukkah.
You have to sleep in the sukkah. You have to eat in the sukkah at night also. So the word Yomim over there is not coming to exclude the night. So too, I might think that it says by Lulav Shivas Yomim that not necessarily does it exclude the night. That's why it has to say B'yom Afilu B'yom V'lo B'layla. That's the end of that sugya. What did we find out? That again, back to our subject, we say that at this point the Gemara says that you take a lulav on Shabbos if it comes out on the first day. But the Brisa said that you, and the reason is because it's universal, it's a mitzvah all over, and that the Gemara says because the pasuk says so. It doesn't say it's in the base of Mikdash, so it's all over. Agav, the Brisa says something about Shabbos, that the Gemara says they don't need a pasuk for, so it's coming to tell you according to Belezer that it's Docha Shabbos Machshimi Lulav. If you have to cut it off the tree, you're allowed to do that on Shabbos also, and the Rabbanan argue on that. Agav, the Gemara said that how do you know that the mitzvah of Lulav is only in the daytime, either because of Yom V'lo B'layla or Shivas Yomim, but not everybody was impressed with the word Shivas Yomim because maybe something means night also. As you find by Sukkah, it says Yomim and it means also night. Now the Gemara is going on a further detour, a tangent on a tangent. The Sukkah Guf Lamelan. Who says that the mitzvah of Sukkah is even at night? Means he just said that the word Shivas Yomim sometimes means day, only day and not night. Sometimes it means day and night. Who tells you by Sukkah? It says sit in the Sukkah for 7 days. Maybe it means only the daytime. Maybe at night, go home, eat at home, sleep at home. And only the daytime. Maybe the word Yamim means only daylight, not at night. And that's going to be the rest of the sugya till Lamed Beis to prove that the mitzvah of sukkah is even at night. It's interesting because really we should have spoken about this in the first two paragraphs, all about sukkah. Now we're already deep into lulav and the Dalet meaning. But here we're coming back to the mitzvah of sukkah. Who says the mitzvah of sukkah is even at night? The sukkah gufim and nolan. Sukkah itself. How do you know that the mitzvah of sukkah is even in the nighttime? The Tana Rabbana, the sukkah stage was Shivas Yamim, this pasuk, and the Gemara says, what does it mean, Brisa? Yamim afilu leilos. You're supposed to sit on the sukkah even at night. Who says? I'll tell me Yamim afilu leilos. Ain't no Yamim below leilos. Maybe not. Maybe the word Yamim means not night. Who says the mitzvah sukkah is even at night? The dinu. I can make a gezerah shava. What's it going to say? Not a comparison. A mamatzina. Namakan Yamim. Maybe it's a gezerah shava. The name of Lulav Yamim. Ma'al Yamim below leilos. So Afkan Yamim below leilos. Maybe learn out from Lulav that it's after the day, because it says Yamim also by Lulav. By Lulav, you know, after it says, we know already at the end that Lulav is only in the daytime and not at night. So when it says Yamim over there, it means only day and not night. So that's because it says by Sukkah Shivas Yamim, maybe it means only the day, not the night. But on the other hand, there is a place where it says Yamim, and it means even at night. Maybe go another path, take another path. Nemar Khan Yamim, Nemar B'Milum Yamim. B'Milum, by the inauguration of the Mishkan, it says over there that Aaron and his children should stay in the Mishkan for 7 days. Over there it says openly day and night. And it says Shivas Yamim, and it says over there Yom V'Layla. Mal Halan Yamim B'Afilu Leilos, Afkan Yamim B'Afilu Leilos. Maybe learn out Sukkah from Miluim that when it says Yamim over there, it means even the night. So we have two roads, a fork in the road. Are we going to learn out Sukkah from Lulav, that it's only in the daytime, or are we going to learn out Sukkah from Miluim, which is even at night? So first, the Gemara tries to do it from reasoning. Let's figure out which one is more comparable. Maybe learn out something which is comparable that the mitzvah is to do it the whole day. Sukkah is supposed to sit in the sukkah the whole day, and we lulav the whole day. So if it's a constant mitzvah the whole day, so then it's more comparable than lulav. Lulav is once a day. You pick up the lulav one time. No mitzvah to hold the lulav the whole day. You just pick up the lulav one time, and you got the mitzvah. So maybe we'll say from reasoning alone that sukkah is more comparable to Miluim than it is to Lulav. And just like Miluim is day and night, not only the whole day, even the whole night. So to Lulav, sukkah is also going to be the whole day and the whole night. But the Gemara is still not satisfied. I have a different road to take. Done in Davashim Esfas Midava Shemisfas Doros, Valichichu Miluim Shein Doros. Sukkah and Lulav, both of them are for all generations. But Miluim is only a one-time thing by the inauguration of the Mishkan. It's not for all generations. So maybe you can't learn out Sukkah from Miluim. On the contrary, learn out Sukkah from Lulav and say that the mitzvah of Sukkah is only in the daytime and not in the nighttime. Talmud Lomar, so now the Brisa comes to the drasha. Here we come to the drasha. Talmud Lomar, Teishvu, the Gzer Shava. Today we know that Sukkah is even in the nighttime is because Gzer Shava from Miluim. Not only reasoning that it says Yamim, but it's Gzer Shava Mamish. Here it says Teishvu, this says Teishvu. Namakan Teishvu, Nemat Midlum Teishvu. Ma'alalan Yamim, Vafilu Leilos, Afkan Yamim, Vafilu Leilos. Just like by Midlum it says openly that it's even at night. So too, by Sukkah, when it says Yamim, it means even at night.
What were they doing during the Miluim at night? Like
They were, I guess they were sleeping.
But the Miluim wasn't that like
It's
a
a-
carbon?
It's all, yeah. During the day they bought karbanos and they ate it, but then they're not allowed to go out. So they slept over there. They slept in the Chatzar Al Moed. I imagine. I think that some of the Mepharshim over there talk about if they have to go out a little bit, if they have to go out in order to take care of their needs, relieve themselves, they will be allowed to go out, but otherwise they have to come back right away. And it says openly over there even at night. So that's the end of the sugya so far. We can't close the sugya because it's going to change. Everything's going to change. But so far, the Gemara finished the first sugya. It says that lulav is the raisa in the base of Mikdash all 7 days. It's the raisa all over on the first day. But the raisa, there's no reason not to take it on Shabbos, but there's a gzera de Rabbah that someone might carry it by mistake, and therefore they wait with a Sheva Altasa, passively they took away the mitzvah on Shabbos, but on the first day they didn't in the Beis HaMikdash, because it's a chashav mitzvah, because not only the Beis HaMikdash is the rice all over, but out of the range where they knew for sure that it's the first day, if they're in the Chutz La'aretz or in a place where they don't know, the shluchim weren't able to get there by Sukkot, they don't know for sure that this is the first day, keeping 2 days Yom Tov, so then they're not sure that it's the first day when it's Shabbos, they don't know for sure that it's Yom Tov, over there not. But in Eretz Yisrael, where they do know that it's the first day of Yom Tov for sure, so then they do take the lulav on the first day, even if it comes out on Shabbos. Of course, don't be Mechal Shabbos, but there's no Gzeir D'Rabba because it's a chashav day. How come we got that? There's a Rebbe Lezer that holds that Machshir Mila is also Docha Lulav, Docha Shabbos, but we don't, the Machshir Lulav is Docha Shabbos, but we didn't hold like that. And the Gemara also said that Lulav is only in the daytime, once a day, and Sukkot is day and night, as the Pasuk says, for all 7 days. We're going to come back to this again, but now continuing the Mishnah talks about the Rava. That was the next point in the Mishnah, that the Rava Shiva Ketzad, that the mitzvah of a Rava in the Beis HaMikdash would put up trees of a Rava around the Mizbeach, and the mitzvah to do it all 7 days, but the Mishnah says they don't do it on Shabbos, only if Hoshana Rabbah comes out on Shabbos. The 7th day of Hoshana Rabbah, the 7th day comes out on Shabbos, then it's Docha Shabbos, but if not, you don't do it on Shabbos. And the Gemara wants to know, the Gemara is going to want to know both ways. What's wrong with doing it on Shabbos? And if something's wrong with doing it on Shabbos, how come it comes out on Hoshana Rabbah? Then it made an exception, and it is Docha Shabbos. So the Gemara doesn't start with the simple way that what's wrong with it doing it on Shabbos? You're not doing anything. What are you doing wrong? But the Gemara starts the other way. Why is the 7th day different? But for whatever reason that you don't want to take it, the Gemara is soon going to talk about why not to take it, what the problem might be. But the Gemara starts right away. Why is the 7th day different? If you're not taking it the rest of the days, it comes out on Shabbos. So how come on the 7th day it comes out on Shabbos, you do take it? How come a Rava on the Shana Rabbah is Docha Shabbos? To publicize that it's the mitzvah in the Torah. It means it doesn't say openly in the Torah the mitzvah of a Rava. It's Allah Moshe Messina. We had before as in the Tios, a Rava Nisachamayim, it's Allah Moshe Messina. It's not in the Torah. And in order to publicize that as their right, so they wanted to show that as Choshev, so they made an exception that at least one day it is going to be Docha Shabbos. It doesn't mean that Docha Shabbos is not doing an Avera. Like we said, there's no Avera to take a Lulav, take an Arava. But there's a Gzeira. We'll see soon. There's some reason why you don't want to take it. But they didn't make that Gzeira on at least one day to show that it's a Chashav mitzvah, that is the Raisa. Yachi, Lulav Nami Litchi Kedei L'Paras Moshe Torah. If so, then Lulav also should override Shabbos in order to publicize that as the Raisa. Rashi says, because it doesn't say openly that the mitzvah of all 7 days in the Beis HaMikdash is the Raisa. It doesn't say take the Lulav the first day. And then it says, which Chazal say mean that you should rejoice in the Beis HaMikdash with the Lulav. But it doesn't say openly. It says Usmachtam. You might think there's mitzvah to be happy, but it doesn't say about the Lulav. So it's also not openly in the Torah. So maybe also make Lulav special, and in order to publicize that as the Raisa, the Gemara says no, it's a problem of Rabbah. We can't override Shabbos because we are concerned with Rabbah's Gezerah you might carry. So then Rabbah was also. So the Gemara made a whole, what is it called? Like a whole circle, a full circle, and came back to first base. Now we know that there's a problem. There's a problem of both of them should have the same problem. Lulav and Rabbah shouldn't be different. Lulav, it's very nice. You're concerned to publicize that as the Raisa, but Lulav is also just as important. But still, the Gezerah the Rabbah overrides that. And you don't take it on Shabbos, besides the first day. But in general, you don't take it. So how come Arava is Docha Shabbos? If Lulav is not Docha Shabbos, then Arava shouldn't be Docha Shabbos. The Gemara says Arava is less of a problem. Arava Shluchei Bezdin Ma'asila. Lulav is a big shash. Lulav Lakol Maso. I'm sorry, I stopped a little bit early. Arava Shluchei Bezdin Ma'asila. Lulav Lakol Maso. That the mitzvah of Rava is not everybody's mitzvah. Not everybody does it. Only the Shluchei Bezdin, the people, the Bezdin of Kohanim, the Bezdin, the Beis HaMikdash, they're the ones, the Sanhedrin, they're the ones who take care of it. The Shluchim, they make certain people that should be in charge of doing this avodah in the Beis HaMikdash. So it's not hefker. No one's going to carry it out by mistake. There's no chance someone's going to carry it because the people who are doing it are authorized by the Bezdin, so that they know what they're doing. But Lulav is a mitzvah for everybody. A lot of people that are ignorant, and they might forget that it's Shabbos. So we're only concerned about Gezerah the Rabbah only by Lulav, not by Rabbah. So now the mark knocked down. There's no reason not to take that Rabbah. By the Lulav, there's a reason not to take it. Rabbanan, and someone might carry it. But by Rabbah, there is no chash. There's no reason not to take it. So the Gemara says there's no reason not to take it. So it should be docha every day. Why is it only docha on the 7th day? Why is it not docha every day? Ihachi. Bottom line. Let's make it the top line now. Yachi, Kol Yom Anami Litchi. Every day the Rabba should override Shabbos. How come only one day? The Gemara says, Asi Lechikfuke Belulav. If a Rabba is going to be Docha Shabbos every day and Lulav is only Docha Shabbos one day, so people are going to think that that Lulav is not as chashav as the Rabba. The Chikfuke Rashi says they'll be Mazalzel or they'll doubt it. They won't see the chashivus of the mitzvah of Lulav if a Rabba is Docha Shabbos every day and Lulav is not Docha Shabbos every day. So really, there's no real concern about any problem of a Rabba on its own. But in order that it shouldn't overrun or shouldn't surpass Lulav, so they didn't make a Rabba to be Docha Shabbos more than Lulav is Docha. And so what do they say? They said a Rabba is only Docha one day. But the question is, how come the seventh day? They should have made it that the same way Lulav is Docha on the first day, so a Rabba also. If Shabbos comes down on the first day, then take a Rabba. The Gemara says no. Lo mucha musa. Amri Lulav udekadachi. If you would have made that the first day of Yom Sukkot is then you take a Rabba, but not the other days. They would have thought not because the Rabba is so chashiv, the fast Moshe Torah. They would have thought that it's the chashivas of Lulav. Since Lulav is Docha Shabbos, so you throw in already, like it's nitcha already, so then you can do a Rabba also. They wouldn't think that a Rabba has its own chashivas. They would have thought it's only the chashivas of the Lulav, but they wouldn't see that a Rabba is so chashiv. So we have to make that it should be Docha Shabbos on a different day. Okay, so it's not the first day, so make it the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. Make it a different day. How come you picked the seventh day? The answer is since you took it off the seventh, the first day, made the seventh day. Rashi says just a davar mesuyam. If we would have done the second day, the third day, you would have asked why second, why third, why fourth, out of the blue. So it's the first day, made this the last day. I found very interesting. The Gemara is amazing that the Gemara says that Hoshana Rabbah is nothing inherently special about it. You might have heard all kinds of drushes about the seventh day, and it could be that it's true, but the Gemara is hiding it. The Gemara says that there's no chashivas to Hoshana Rabbah. It's only because we have to pick a day, and we can't be the first day. So it's not the first, and we do the last. Nothing special about it. It could be that the Midrashim will say something special about Hoshana Rabbah, but the Gemara doesn't see it. The Gemara just makes it that it's let's say a Hoshana Rabbah special, and we take a Rabbah on the Hoshana Rabbah. What's special about the Hoshana Rabbah, the seventh day? So in the Gemara alone, it just says because we have to make something about the one day should be special, and we don't want to make the first day because then it's going to be because of the lulav. So we have to keep pick a different day. So which day? Might as well be the last one.
Why would you make something special?
Here the Gemara says you want to show that a Rabba is the Raisa because it's not the fast Mashim in the Torah because it's not perish in the Torah. So you want to make that it should be people should know that it's really a mitzvah, at least in the Beis Hamikdash. Here the Gemara is going to the Beis Hamikdash, not what we do. But just the Gemara doesn't show anything special about Hoshana Rabbah. It's not a special day. They only made it special. They made it special in order to make that the seventh day should that a Rabbah should be special. That it's Docha Shabbos on a day that the lulav is not Docha Shabbos. That's how it looks like. I'm not saying there's nothing mysterious behind it. It could be there's not behind this, but in the words of the Gemara, that's what it says. The Gemara continues. Now this Gemara goes about a Rabbah nowadays. Nowadays we don't take that Rabbah. Means there's no mitzvah of a Rabbah in the Beis Hamikdash. It was to take it, put it around the mizbech, these big trees around the mizbech, which we'll see later on. But we, a Rabbah, it's a minute to take a Rabbah on the Hoshana Rabbah, but we don't take it on Shabbos. Now it happens to be again. I just mentioned that the calendar makes it that it doesn't come out on Shabbos, but the Gemara doesn't have that. The Gemara talks about that could be on Shabbos, and it would not be Docha Shabbos. That the minute we have to take a Rabbah, not the same Rabbah that did in the Beis Hamikdash, and that's going to be the whole sugi now. What are we taking a Rabbah for? But the Gemara says, how come we don't take a Rabbah on Shabbos? If in the Beis Hamikdash you took a Rabbah on Shabbos to show that it's special, that it's Docha Shabbos on the day that the lulav is not Docha Shabbos, why don't we take a Rabbah on Shabbos? The Gemara says, I lost the place. The Gemara says, Anan lo yadinu b'kfir di'acha, because we're not sure of the date. Again, in Chustos, we're not sure which day is which. So even though we think that it's the seventh day, maybe it's not the seventh day. So we're not going to take. Maybe it's only the sixth day. So
what was the question you asked?
How come we don't? How come nowadays also the Rabbah should be Docha Shabbos? If Hoshana Rabbah comes out on Shabbos, we should take the Rabbah even on Shabbos. The Gemara answers because we're not sure that it's the seventh day. We're not sure which day is the right day. Maybe it's the sixth day of Yom Tov. So therefore, we're not going to take the Rabbah on the Hoshana Rabbah. But the Gemara says, okay, how about in Eretz Yisrael? In Eretz Yisrael, they do know the calendar. They know when the new moon came. So how come they don't take that Rabbah on Shabbos? Behedi came and he said, it never happens. It never happens that Hoshana Rabbah should come on Shabbos. They will always organize the calendar. If Adam came, they wanted to say that there should be Elul, whatever should come out. They'd always would organize their calendar to make that it shouldn't come out Hoshana Rabbah on Shabbos. So it's not a kasha. It doesn't happen. But the Gemara says, no, it's not true. When Ravin came, and all those others who came down from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, they said, no, it did happen. The Shana Rabbah came on Shabbos, and they didn't take the Rabbah on Shabbos. So the Kash comes back. How come? If you say that the seventh day is special, and they made that they should be Docha Shabbos, if it comes out of Shana Rabbah on a Shabbos, how come nowadays we don't do it? At least in Eretz Yisrael. Of course, that's fine. But in Eretz Yisrael, that they knew they know for sure that it's the seventh day, how come they don't take the Rabbah on Shabbos? Rav Yosef on Leimalan that Rav ben Atila, Dilma Beskifa. Here the Gemara goes to open up a subject. How did they do the mitzvah of Rav in the Beis Hamikdash? Nowadays, there's no Beis Hamikdash, there's no Mizbeach. And the question was, how did they do the mitzvah of Rav in those days?
In the mission.
The question is Natila or Zakifa? When they do the mitzvah of a Rav, how did they do the mitzvah of a Rav in the Beis Hamikdash? The choice is Zakifa or Natila. Zakifa means that they stood it up around the Mizbeach. They erected all of the lulav, these willow branches, they put it around the Mizbeach. We didn't have a Mizbeach nowadays. So there'd be no parallel for us to be able to copy them and do something similar. So then our Rav that we take on the Shana Rabbah has nothing to do with the Zeichel HaMikdash. It's not the same kind of Rav. And that's what Rav Yosef is suggesting. Maybe who says that they took in the Rav in the Beis Hamikdash, they took it, Natila, they took it, they carried it around the Mizbeach. Maybe they just stood it up. If they stood it up, so our Rav has nothing to do with that, and that's not a way of making a Zeichel HaMikdash. So that's why he answered the kasha. The reason why we don't take in the Beis Hamikdash they were doch on the seventh day because they wanted to make that a special to show that it's Docha Shabbos on the day that the lulav is not Docha Shabbos. But nowadays we can't do that because we don't have a Rabbah nowadays. The Master Kasha Esrei Abaye. Esrei Abaye. Lulav Rabbah Shisha B'Shiva. The Gemara is going to go on a challenge now on a track to try to disprove Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says that maybe the whole mitzvah of Rav in the Beis Hamikdash is B'Skifa. That's what the Gemara is dealing with now. Is this true? It's going to take half a page. The Gemara is going to knock it off, but not right away. It's going to take time. The first Kasha Abaye says, Lulav Arava, Shisha B'Shiva. Says in the Mishnah that the mitzvah of Lulav and Arava both have put them in one pot. Lulav and Arava, sometimes 6, sometimes 7. Doesn't it sound like it's the same kind of a mitzvah? Lulav is surely Natilas Lulav. You don't zokif the Lulav, you hold it in your hand. Isn't that mean that Arava is also the same thing? My love Lulav. Doesn't it show that Arava is similar to Lulav? Ma Lulav and Natila, Arava and Natila. Lulav you take in your hand, Arava also you take in your hand. But the Gemara says, no, it's not to do with each other. My immediate area is that a proof. How Kedisa or Kedisa? Well, it could be that they have different ways of doing it, like Halal and Nisachama, Halal and Simcha, nothing to do with each other. Just because it says Lulav and Arava doesn't mean that they're the same mitzvah. So it could be that even though Lulav is Vinatila, maybe Arava is only B'Skif and you don't hold it. Since you don't hold it, again, the whole thing's going to be, you don't hold it, so Arava is not similar to the Beis Hamikdash's Arava. In the Beis Hamikdash, the only B'Skif, the only put on the Mizbeach. Esvei, another kash, Esvei Abaye. B'chol yom Makif v'nesam Mizbeach ha'machas. Yes. Yes, every day they would surround, encircle the Mizbeach one time, and at that day, on the seventh day, they would do it 7 times. What is it talking about? What? That's the most question. My lab, Rabba doesn't mean they went around with their Rabba. If they went around, going Makifin means they went around. If they went around, that means they're holding it. Zakifin means you just stand it up, and that's it. You don't go around. If it says you go around, that means that you're holding it. If it says Makifin is a Mizbeach by Rabba, that means that you take it Benatila, and the kasha, and that will be a proof that you do take it. If you do take it in the Beis Hamikdash, so then nowadays also our Natilas Arava is similar to that one, and let it be Docha Shabbos. It always goes back to the same kasha. But the Gemara says no, it's not a proof. Lo Belula over there when it says they surrounded the Mizbeach, they encircled the Mizbeach every day one time, and Shana Rabbah 7 times. It doesn't mean the Arava. It means the Lulav and the Rabbah.
I have 2 pictures here if you want me to show.
Yes, please.
So here's a Rava going around. And I assume that all the people, some people have big ones and some people have, and most of them have small ones, but that's all a Rava.
And going around the Mizbeach.
Yeah,
okay.
And then the one that says Lulav, it would be, I guess that the Aravas here are standing up around the Mizbeach and they're going around with their Lulavs.
They did stand up the Aravas around the Mizbeach. Do you want to show the picture before again? Over there, did they have the Aravas around the Mizbeach or not?
No.
They didn't, right. They were doing the Tila. But it seems everybody held that there's a key. I think everyone's going to hold that they did put it around the Mizbeach. The question was, did they also carry it around? If they also carried it around, we can do that also. Our Rabbah nowadays is similar to the Rabbah of those days. If they only did Zakifa, then our Rabbah, we can't do similar to them. Thank you. Okay.
Only the Kohanim.
Yes, please.
This is only the Kohanim. Only the Kohanim.
He's asking, is it only the Kohanim?
Oh, that's going to be the issue if you have to go around the whole Mizbeach. So then it says, Rashi says that the Israelim cannot go between the Mizbeach and the Beis HaMikdash. That area is off limits, so only the Kohanim would do it. Rashi says it towards the bottom. The Gemara continues. So it,
Some of them got bigger and smaller. Like today as well, also have bigger and smaller as well. When in the it's also the case today as well.
Did anybody? I couldn't hear. Like Yaakov, did you hear? Oh, my connection is not good here over here. So if you could-
No, Gotti, we can't hear your phone. Your microphone is not, you sound like you're underwater.
Okay,
if you're right here, so you can step in and we'd like to hear the question. Okay, so the Gemara is looking out over here if the mitzvah of Rava is to carry it around the Mizbeach or just to stand it up. And Rav Yosef was trying to answer the question by saying only stand it up. And our Rava is not similar to that, but the Gemara is trying to attack that. Someone said, Rav Nachman said that over there when it says then the Beis HaMikdash they will surround them, encircle the Mizbeach, it's with that Rava that they did take it around. You can't scratch on me from Rav Nachman. I'm also contemporary with him. Even though Rav Nachman said it's Bar Rava, I say it's Balulav, and I hold Rav Yosef is saying that maybe the Rava was only to stand it up and not to take it around. And our Rava is not the Rava of the Mikdash. Now the more reason machlokes, different opinions about the Rava, was it carried around or not? Itmar Rav Elazar, Omer Rav Lulav, Rav Shmuel Bar Nasan, Omer Rav Chanina Bar Rava. Some say it was going around the Beis HaMikdash with the Lulav and not the Rava.
Who said that? Amar Le?
Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef was asked that Rav Nachman says it was Bar Rava. So he says that's what he says. I say differently. I'm allowed to argue on him. He's not a Mishnah. He's not a Tana. So there's a machlokes going on. If when it says they surrounded the Mizbeach, encircled the Mizbeach going around, was it with the Rava or not? If it was with the Lulav, it could be that they also has a mitzvah of the Rava, but it doesn't say Beferish that was with the Rava or not. Beferish was trying to say that they did not take the Rava by hand, only by Zkifa, and nowadays our Rava is not similar to that. The more reason machlokes about this question, Rav Elazar Omer Balulav, Rav Shmuel Bar Nasan, Rav Chanina Bar Rava, V'chein Omer Rav Nachman, Rav Bar Avua Bar Rava. Different opinions said that it was with that Rava. Those who say this with that, that will be against Rav Yosef, because it says that the Mikdash also, they carried the Rava around, and our Rava is similar to that. And the question was, why is it not Docha Shabbos? The more continues with this subject about carrying the Rava or not. Amalei Rava Yitzchak Ben Rava Bar Chana. Rava told the son of Rava Bar Chana, his name was Rav Yitzchak Bar Uriah, like son of Talmud Chacham. Milsa Ma'alisa Dev Amravuch. Come, I'll tell you a good thing that your father used to say. Your father, Rava Bar Chana, that mission we just mentioned, that every day they would encircle the Mizbeach one time and the Shana Rabbah 7 times with what? That he says, your father said the name of Rabbi Elazar was with the Lulav. Okay, so we still have those that say that it was with a Lulav, those say that it's with a Rava. Rav Yosef is trying to say maybe it only was with the Lulav, but the Rava they only stood up. If they stood up and they didn't carry it around, so our Rava is not similar to that, and therefore it's not a kasha. How come we're not Docha Shabbos nowadays? We're not Docha Shabbos because it has nothing to do with Zeichel HaMikdash. So this is similar to Mikdash. Esvei, now this is going to be the knockout kasha. It's going to show that the mitzvah of a Rava is also to carry it around. Esvei, Lulav Docha Shabbos, but Chilos of Rava B'Sofa, this we're familiar with already, that Lulav overrides Shabbos if it's the first day, but Chilos means the first day of Yom Tov, and a Rava is Docha Shabbos on the last day of Yom Tov. If a Shana Rabbah comes out on Shabbos, then you take that Rava. So far, that's not news. One time we came out of Shana Rabbah on Shabbos. They wanted to get ready to do the mitzvah of a Rabbah. They brought these trees of Rabbahs from Erev Shabbos, like they were getting ready to do the mitzvah of a Rabbah on Shabbos, and they put it in Azara. They can't bring it on Shabbos. They brought it before Shabbos. But the Baitusim were there. Baitusim like Tzedukim, the people who were arguing in the Chachamim. If you keep Ben Baitusim, we're not going to Kavshim Tachas Avanim. They wanted to make sure that they don't take the Rabbah because they hold that they didn't hold to the mitzvah of a Rabbah because it doesn't say in the Torah, and they didn't listen to the mitzvah of Torah Shabbat Ben. So the Kavshim means that they suppressed it, they buried it, they hid it. Rashi says under stones. So it seems that the stones were in order. I don't think they were hiding it. They're pretty hard to hide, but they were trying to make it muktzah in a way that he shouldn't be able to get them out on Shabbos because the Chachamim will hold the muktzah. They're not going to take them out. But the Machar them by Amayoretz, but they were ignorant people over there. But they were on the good side. They were ignorant, but they were together with the Prushim, with the good people. They slipped them out from under the stones. The Kohanim came and they stood them up on the side of the Mizbeach the way you're supposed to do. How come they didn't agree with it? The Fisha ain't by Tusin Modim Shechibut Arav Dochas Shabbos, because the Baitusin didn't agree that the mitzvah of Chibut Arav was Dochas Shabbos. They didn't agree to the mitzvah at all, but especially not to do it on Shabbos. But anyway, Rashi says that even though it says openly the Zakfum, they did stand it up by the sides of the Mizbeach, and that everyone agrees you do, but it says here Chibut Arav. It says Chibut Arav. What does Chibut Arav mean? So Rashi says the word Chibut means to shake it, to shake that Rava. Or the Rambam says Chibut means to bang it. Whatever it means that they took it by hand. And this is a riot that they did take that Rava by hand. So the whole discussion we had for the past half Amud, did they just stand it on the Mizbeach, by the sides of the Mizbeach, or did they actually hold it? Here it says in the Brisa that you took it by hand. Alma bin Atilahi, Utyufta. So we prove now that you do take the Rava by hand. Rav Yosef was wrong. It took half a page to figure that out. And you do hold it by hand. If you hold it by hand, the Kash comes back. So our Rava is similar to the Rava of the Mikdash, because they took it by hand, we take it by hand. So how come we don't be Dochet? If Hashanah Rabbah comes out on Shabbos, how come we don't do the same thing and be Docha Shabbos and take the Rava on Shabbos of Hashanah Rabbah? How come we don't override Shabbos? The answer is since we in Chutz in Bava, we don't take that Rabbah on Shabbos because we're not sure that it's Hashanah Rabbah. So Eretz Yisrael also doesn't do it. Rashi says in order not to make separations, groups that some people do, some people don't. So since out of Eretz Yisrael, we don't take the Rabbah on Hashanah Rabbah because maybe it's not Hashanah Rabbah. So in Eretz Yisrael, even though they know it is Hashanah Rabbah, they're also not going to take it. To make everyone should be uniform. Everyone should be the same.
What is it saying?
Where does Rashi say it, or where does Rashi on the top of the next page? That it shouldn't be agudos. I think Rashi's on the next page. Not to make Shalom Asis Yisrael agudos.
What
Yeah,
does it say?
top line in Rashi.
Oh, yeah.
The near Kishtei Torahs.
That's both for the Lord and for the
So now the Gemara comes to the kasha, because the whole page, even though you're saying the truth is that we don't take it either, but the Gemara didn't say that yet. The Gemara and Amud Aleph, till now we're under the impression that a Rava, and an Amud Aleph, the Gemara said that the lulav they do take in Eretz Yisrael, and that's Gemara's kasha now. They recently done lo dachi. What are you talking about? You're saying that the Rava, since they don't take it, we don't in Bavel, we don't take it in Eretz Yisrael either. Yom Rishon, we say that in Bavel we don't take the lulav, it comes out on Shabbos because we're not sure that it's the first day, and Eretz Yisrael does take it. So we can stop here at the end of the page, or we can go tomorrow and we'll see the next words. Here's where everything changes over now. The Gemara says, no, you're right. Just now, Amri, Amri, they say, means that the answer is that for Eretz Yisrael also, you don't take the lulav on the first day of Sukkot, even when it comes on a Shabbos, even the first day. And then now we're back on home base. This is what we know. The whole time we were talking about that on the first day of Sukkot, you do take it on Shabbos, and we said that we don't do that. Here's where the Gemara changed. It took a whole daf to change. If you would have stopped on the bottom of the page, you wouldn't know till tomorrow. But we went one more line, and the Gemara continues a little bit. But a few more lines. Before on Amud Aleph, the Gemara proved it. The Gemara said that one mission says Beis Hamikdash, one mission says Beis Knesses, and we wanted to say that means after the Beis Hamikdash, and we're still taking it on Shabbos on the first day. There's a contradiction now. The fact that, not a contradiction, but the fact that it has two brises, two mishnayos. The Tani Chad Kala Amar Lichnas L'Bein HaRabayis. That's the Beis Hamikdash. The Tani Chad Idach Beis Knesses. And we said before that it means after the Beis Hamikdash was Chorei, they still took it, and it means in Eretz Yisrael. And now you're telling me that after Beis Hamikdash you don't take it at all. And now you're telling me that and you don't take it from far away. You also don't take it close by. The Gemara says no. In fact, from oh, it's not true. End of the Gemara. That after the Beis Hamikdash was Choreb, and you have places that don't know when the first day is, they're not making the true diacha, you don't take it at all, not even in Eretz Yisrael. But during the Beis Hamikdash, over there, you do take the lulav in not only the Beis Hamikdash, even in the Beis Knesses. Which Beis Knesses? The Beis Knesses in Eretz Yisrael, but they know for sure that it's the first day. But outside, where they don't know, that's the end of the Gemara. So it comes out in the Gemara that nowadays you don't take the lulav because no Beis Hamikdash, you don't take the lulav even in Eretz Yisrael, even though we do have a kibbutz diacha. But in times of the Beis Hamikdash, you would. Now the problem is what happened. The Gemara doesn't make sense because even times of Beis Hamikdash also there were people far away that also didn't know kibbutz diacha. This chiluk doesn't seem to make sense because Eretz Yisrael also the Beis Hamikdash also they didn't know outside of Eretz Yisrael. That's what the issues are. They weren't able to send messages. So it's the hardest thing. The Gemara Rashi seems to say, I don't get the Rashi. I didn't look around. Rashi says at the time of the Beis Hamikdash, everybody was in Eretz Yisrael. Is that true? Rashi says in the third line, Everyone was in Eretz Yisrael during the Beis Hamikdash. B'chara is not true.
Maybe it's about Yontif.
So some say, but Rabbi Avraham said that they were all a regel. So during the Yontif, everybody came. So Yontif Sheni people were like some Yechidim, some stragglers, they didn't come to be all the regel. But most of the people, most of the population, maybe that's what Rashi
Who
means.
wouldn't come?
Yeah, only those people who are, well, why would they be there the whole year round? Why would they not in Eretz Yisraal?
Or
They live in
Chayv
Chutz La'aretz.
anyway.
So
They
everyone's
were
trying to
doing
come.
business, the Yontif everyone came.
But okay, so here Rashi's during the Beis Hamikdash, there were no people that were outside, and therefore in Eretz Yisrael, where they knew that it's Yontif, the first day, so they take the lulav even on Shabbos, when it's the first day, comes out on Shabbos. But after the Beis Hamikdash, and you have people that are out of Eretz Yisrael, and they're not taking the lulav on the first day because they're not sure that it's the first day. So nobody takes the lulav even in Eretz Yisrael, and that's why nowadays we don't take the lulav in Eretz Yisrael, even though we know it's for sure the first day. There's no Yom Tov Sheni. We don't take the lulav on the first day because people in Chutz La'aretz don't. That's the end of the subject. Just to sum it up,
So why in Israel do they keep one day if everyone else keeps 2 days in a row?
and you don't say that. What you're saying that it's
I'm saying,
different.
who does it?
Yeah, that's a nice question. If the Gemara says agudas, not to make differences,
Right,
is that
Klal
is,
Yisrael
is
only
that
2
is
days.
that is that not a big difference? That they keep 2 days and we keep 1 day. Is that not a difference? Over there we understand. The reason is because they don't know which day it is. But over here,
Still,
yeah,
today in Eretz Yisrael we have a calendar. We know when Shabbos. We know when Yom Tov is supposed to be. So
Right.
when it falls on Shabbos, we still know and we still don't take it.
right. Because in the Chutz La'aretz they're not taking it.
Exactly.
Yes, to say they keep 2 days, we keep 1 day. That's understood. They're not sure which day it is. In those days, nowadays everything is a minhag already.
So that's what I'm
But
saying.
to say that we're going to take lulav on the first day and they're not going to take lulav on the first day, that already shows that the difference is that do you take lulav on Shabbos or not? We do take it and they don't take it. They have to be alarmed to know. The reason is because we know for sure that it's not if they're not sure. That already people don't understand. It's not so obvious. The fact that they keep 2 days because they're not sure which day is Yom Tov. What should they do to keep 2 days? We do know which day, so we don't have to keep 2 days. But to say that it's Docha Shabbos or not, they have to be alarmed to
Sorry,
know.
you're saying-
The difference is because we know for sure that it's Shabbos, so we'll make it choshev, and they're not sure, so we're not going to make the choshev. That's already more of a remove.
For reason these days we don't take it on Shabbos in Eretz Yisrael because they don't.
Right,
So I'm
right.
saying it's hafuch. We should keep 2 days because they keep 2 days. We should go back.
So I was saying, keeping 2 days, it depends if you know if it's Yom Tov or not. There's no reason to make.
Right.
We're not going to make that everyone should keep 2 days if you know that it's Yom Tov today. There's only a mitzvah to have one day of Yom Tov, so you do it. The Torah says over there they don't know, so they have to keep 2 days. But as far as making a takana, do you take a lulav on the first day on Shabbos when it comes on the first day, and people are not going to understand what's behind that, and they're not going to see it depends because you're not sure that it's Yom Tov or not. We are sure, so then it would look like 2 different laws. That would be like they don't see the reason behind it. So they'll look at 2 different laws. This is a circumstance. You don't know what it is. You keep 2 days. Okay, Yashikach, everybody. We'll be back in a minute about Hilchos Muktzah.
Rebbe, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, along the lines of Chaim David's question from Shofar, there's a Rashi here at the beginning of the sugya that says Nimsu based in Masnin La'akor Davar Minatara, and he brings Yavamos Veshanin and Sheval Tase Shani. So Rabbi Rosner brought there's a very famous Taz here. The Taz is on Bayom Hashmini, the pasuk Bayom Hashmini B'Legabe Mila, and the Taz makes a klal that because the Torah writes Mefarish Bayom Hashmini, so it's Ki'ilu writing that there has to be an efsharut to do bris milah on Shabbos. So therefore, Chazal, this is the klal of the Taz, Chazal is not allowed to be ma'aker something that's mefarish written in the Torah, like Bayom Hashmini, that there has to be a possibility to give a bris milah on Shabbos. Where do you apply that between all these mitzvahs to figure out, Sheval Taseh Tani, Shani, what yes and what no? It's confusing to me.
Everything is talking about Sheval Tasa. Sheval Tasa, that's it only starts with Sheval Tasa. The Chazal would never say to actively go against the mitzvah of the Torah.
Right, but this sugya is entertaining that some things we should do, some things we shouldn't. And we see at least by Mila that where the Torah says Bayom Hashmini, we're not going to be ma'aker it. We are going to let Mila be on Shabbos. But over here we're discussing maybe this yes, maybe this no. I just don't see a behirus. It's not clear to me.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Taz, so I can't try.
Well, that's the klal of the Taz. He says because by Mila it says B'Yom Hashmini, it means Chazal's not allowed now to say it's not possible to do a Mila on Shabbos? Because the Torah says Vayom Hashmini, and that's Kol El Shabbos.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't, I don't know. I have to say I don't know. That's a call.
Okay, but there's also in Tosfos here, you have shofar, like Chaim David said. So where do we draw a line?
It's has nothing to do with the das. Taisus is asking a question. How come they made shofar, even though it's a universal mitzvah? How come they didn't say this cloud that when it's universal, do it under all circumstances? There's the answer to Taisus Kasha, a simple answer that the shofar they did make in the base of Mikdash, like the Gemara says, that only the places which are far away, those places in the Israel, they did make it. Okay, we have to stop here. We'll be back in a couple of minutes for.
I have another